to my channel. So today, bit of a different one. I'm going to be doing a bit of a Q&A, advice, just general chat about uni and partly kind of my experience. Obviously these are just my own opinions, anything that I think might help, but yeah, just a bit of a uni chat really. I asked over on my Instagram for some questions, for some advice, things that people wish they'd have known before starting uni and all things like that. So this isn't just from me, but obviously the answers to questions will be just my opinion, but I really hope that it can help some people, whether you're at uni already or starting uni in the next few years. I just thought it'd be a good little video, but yeah, let's get started. I think I'm just going to start with some of the advice that people gave me. I've got a few bits of advice that people maybe wish that they'd known before they started uni and things like that, so I just thought that'd be a great way to start, and then I'll get into some of the questions, and yeah, I just really hope this helps some people. Let's get rolling. The first piece of advice that one of my friends gave was about your things in the kitchen, and she said to permanent marker your kitchen utensils. Now obviously you don't have to do this. Obviously your flat, you have no idea who you're going to be living with. They might end up being your best friends, they might not, but it is a good idea to definitely have kind of unique kitchen utensils because things get muddled up. Lots of things are lying around, people borrow things, so it is definitely a good piece of advice to either mark your things or have identifiable things. Like my cutlery had little marble like handles, so that was pretty easy to identify. So the next few bits of advice are a bit more focused on like the very start of uni, so like freshers and even before starting. One piece of advice is for freshers to put yourself out there and just be yourself, which is definitely always really important, not just in freshers, not just in uni, but just in life really, I guess. But yeah, definitely in freshers, lots of people will be going to uni and not knowing anyone at all. I didn't have anyone from home going to the same uni, so you definitely do have to just put yourself out there, join clubs, go to different events, all things like that, but still be yourself because you want to make friends with people that are like you, that you're going to get along with. Another person said about joining Facebook chats, which I have experience with because for my university we had a big Facebook group where you could join, find people from your course, find people from your flat, and it was definitely really helpful and like comforting because this was set up probably January before I started, so a solid like 8-9 months. I was joining the group, I was joining group chats, people were following each other on Instagram, on Snapchat, and it was just a really nice way to get to know different people. I ended up in a group chat with just a group of really nice girls, and then we had a Snapchat group, and some of those girls from that Snapchat group and all the group chats and everything are now some of my best friends at uni. It's just a good place to get started with meeting new people. Like I said, I didn't know anyone before going to uni, so this meant I had some people to meet during freshers. I didn't have to stick with my flat, but obviously you can stick with your flat if you want to. If your uni does group chats, Facebook groups, whatever it is, I definitely recommend getting involved because it's a great chance to meet people before you actually join. Another piece of advice is it's okay if uni isn't the best time of your life like you're told. Now obviously I'm only in first year, completed first year. I do definitely see where this person is coming from and almost agree, like obviously agree, but like I almost would give the same piece of advice because I have enjoyed my first year of uni, but it's definitely not been how I expected. I found it a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, not in terms of like the actual work, but just being away from home, all these new things, new places, new people, and it definitely wasn't what I thought uni was going to be like for me. It's alright if the uni experience that you have isn't the experience that everyone like says that they're having. I've got lots of friends at other unis that do go out lots and party, but for me personally, that's just not what I really want to do, so therefore that's not what my uni experience is going to be like. Doesn't mean mine's going to be any worse than theirs. Everyone's going to have a completely different experience, and I think that's really important to remember, that not everyone will have the same 3 or 4 years at uni. Doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, doesn't mean they're doing it right. Just make sure that you're happy whatever you're doing, but of course there's going to be some ups and downs. It's a whole new world, honestly. It's just so different to everything else you've done before. It's so different to school. But yeah, just really give it a chance, and hopefully you have your experience how you want it. So I'm now going to move on to some of the questions, and like I said, this is just my opinion, my advice. I've only been at uni for 1 year, so obviously I don't have a whole degree and everything under my belt. I don't want to make these too personal about me, because obviously I want this to be helpful for everyone. So some of these are a bit more directed at me, and some are just general like questions about the uni life. So I'll try and give it a bit of a mix, but yeah, I want people to be able to watch this and be able to relate to it. The first question is, what should I take that I'm probably going to forget? Now this is quite tricky because I don't know, I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot. I mean, a few things that I would definitely recommend taking, whether you might forget them or not. For me, a full-length mirror was important. I have a full-length mirror in my bedroom at home, and my accommodation didn't have them. Obviously some might, so that's no worries, but mine didn't, and I just think that's quite an important thing. Not a necessity, but I felt like I needed it. I think definitely just making a list of all the things that you will need for the kitchen if you are self-catered. I was all right, but there was definitely a few things I thought, oh, didn't have that. Maybe things for baking, for example. Lots of people do baking at uni as an activity to pass some time, or things to do with friends, and I didn't have any sort of baking things, and neither did some of my friends either. But yeah, there's nothing specific that I remember that I forgot, but obviously if you're worried about forgetting certain things, make lists, Google about what people took with them, and think if you've got all of that. But yeah, that's about it. Someone has said, what do you regret? Which obviously is quite specific to me. I don't really feel like I regret anything. Like I said, I've only done my 1 year so far, so hopefully I wouldn't have too many regrets in just the first year. It's not a regret, but maybe something that I would tell myself like 8 months ago is just similar to what I mentioned earlier. Just because you're not going out and partying and drinking loads doesn't mean that you're doing uni wrong. And I almost regret thinking like I'm not enjoying it, when I'm enjoying it. I'm just enjoying what I like to do. Like, just because I'm at uni doesn't mean I need to go out. If I want movie nights, I'll have movie nights. If I want time to myself, I'll have time to myself. That kind of thing. Like, I just think it's so important to remember that just because you're going to uni, you don't have to have the full partying, drinking experience. At the end of the day, you're going to uni for a degree. And of course, people want to enjoy themselves along the way, but enjoy yourself how you want to enjoy yourself, not just joining in with everyone that's doing all crazy things, because yeah, if that's not you, then that's not you. So just don't force yourself to do anything that you don't want to do. I guess it's not majorly a regret, but yeah, that's all I can think of. I don't really have regrets. Just making sure that you're always sticking to your deadlines, giving yourself enough time to do work, kind of doing work as you're getting set. Don't leave it till last minute, but I felt like I was quite good at that, so that's not really a regret, but that's something that I did so that I don't regret like leaving everything till the end. Does that make sense? I don't know. Someone said, am I happy with my course? Which again is obviously very specific to me. Personally, yes, I am happy with my course. So I do media, communications and social media, because the social media part is the bit I'm really interested in. Near the start of my course, I did debate changing to a more fashion course, as my uni does fashion marketing, I think it's called. But in the end, I realised that the course I was on was a lot broader and would allow me to learn everything around the subject. If I wanted to specialise in a bit of fashion, then I'm gonna hope to be able to bring that in the next 2 years. Whereas going straight into fashion, maybe I wouldn't have learned all the media and communications part that I am still interested in. It isn't too late to change once you're at uni, but obviously if you started on one course and then you want to change, then that is just something else that you've got to think about, whether you have to catch up and settling in with new course mates and all things like that. So one question is making friends hard? Personally, I feel like it really wasn't that hard for me. Like I said, I joined group chats before, so that helped me to meet people and get in touch with people before I even went. So then by the time I arrived, I already had people I'd spoken to and could meet up. It's going to be different for absolutely everyone. Maybe you've got people from school that are going to your uni, so that gives you a bit of home comfort when you're away. You have to remember that even if people know people from home, everyone is still in the same position. Like, most of my flatmates or the friends that I made, maybe they knew the odd person at the uni, but they didn't have a big friendship group and then turn up to uni, which is the important thing. You're not the only one that might not know anyone. Pretty much most people probably don't know anyone. Everyone's a bit nervous. You've got course mates, you've got flatmates, you've got friends from clubs and things like that, so you meet such a wide range of people, and trust me, you will find your people. Lots of people make their best friends from their flat, but if you don't, that's really not the end of the world. Someone said, what do you do when you first get there? And I actually found that really, like, a really good and interesting question, because that is definitely the kind of thing that you don't really think about. Once your parents leave, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm just here. I was in my room by myself, obviously nervous, like that is so understandable. Thinking about going into the kitchen to socialise with your new flat, like I was now living with 7 new people that I didn't know, and it is a bit daunting. When I first got there, obviously we unpacked all my things with my parents, had a bit of a wander, but then when they left, I finished sorting out my room. I put like my pictures up because I wanted to give myself something to do once they left. Then I think I probably went into the kitchen to try and meet some of my flatmates. Then before you know it, people are starting to have their dinner and getting ready for the first night of freshers. So yeah, it is daunting when your parents leave or whoever's dropping you off, but everyone's just chilling in the kitchen or in your rooms or whatever. Have some food, make yourself comfortable, think about what's happening in the evening, decide what you want to do in the evening, whether you're going to go out with your flatmates or friends you know or anything. Honestly, it goes by quite quickly. There will be things on, there'll be freshers things on in the evening, there will be talks and things to go to in the week, so that kept me a bit busy. You slowly start to get to know people, and before you know it, you're a few weeks into uni and you have got your routine and you know what you're doing, and yeah, you're way into your uni life. Someone asked about finding the best course and finding the best uni for that course. So definitely it's difficult. I remember looking at unis, looking at courses. I definitely recommend start open days in year 12, which sounds really early, but I went to my first open day, I think March of year 12, because by the time you get into year 13, you're applying and everything, you want to have already visited a few universities. In terms of finding the right course, obviously, when you're looking maybe on the UCAS website, which is really helpful, and searching for a course, go onto the different university pages, look at the modules that you would be doing, look at different variations of that course if there is. But just remember that if you aren't happy with your course, you're not stuck in it for the next 3 years. So don't panic about that, but definitely look at different universities, go and visit them, maybe look at a few courses at one university to see if there's a bit of a different style that you like a different variation of one course. But yeah, you've just really got to think about what you want to do in the future or what you enjoy at the moment, and just find the course that's right for you. You will find the course that you think is best, you will find the university that you feel like you're going to feel most at home at, and it will all come together and you will be fine. But definitely when you're looking at university, also think about the distance from home, think about what the social life is like at that university, or what the towns are like, what the cities are like, what's around your uni, all things like that, because that is definitely something to consider. So someone has asked, what is it really like? Now obviously this is quite a broad question, but I guess it is the kind of thing you want to ask someone that has been to uni. So yeah, someone said, what is it really like? And I definitely see where they're coming from with this question. You think you know what uni is like, having heard about it for quite a while probably, but it is what you expect, and it's also the complete opposite of what you expect. Everyone always tells you uni is very independent, and it is exactly that. You are now living not by yourself, but not with your parents in your family home. You are looking after yourself, doing your washing, doing your dinner, doing your food shop, you know, all things like that that obviously not everyone always has to do at home. It's really good because it makes you independent and it's getting you ready for life after uni and things like that. So that is a good part of it, but I don't know, the reality of it when you're there, you know that's exactly what it's going to be like, but when you're actually doing it, it's like, oh my goodness, it really makes you feel like a proper adult in my opinion. Grades are very different at uni in a way. At school, maybe getting, let's say 60%, not bad at all. Maybe 60% at school you might be a bit like miffed at, you might want, you know, to get about 75%, but 60 at uni is still really quite good. Like the majority of my grades are between 50 to 70 out of 100, and normally at school, like I'd be happy with 70 at school, but you might get like into the 80s, or if you do really well, like you might get 90% on something, but 70 at uni is a first. So you want to get 70 in everything. So just don't get disheartened by getting in the 50s and in the 60s, because that's actually still really good. A few more questions linked to kind of A-levels and school. Someone said, how do I get through year 13? Which is fine, I'm happy to talk about year 13. So obviously I went to sixth form. Honestly, I think just start making revision notes. Not in September, well, not in September, but like, I'm not going to tell you need to start revising in September, but I do definitely recommend like starting to make good revision notes as you're going through your course in year 13, because if you leave it all until study leave or all until maybe Easter half term, you'll have so many resources to make to then have to learn, which I know is still helpful because as you're writing it, you're learning it. You can write things out throughout the year. By the time you get around to Easter or February or that kind of time that you'll really want to start drilling it into your head and into your memory, you will probably find it much easier. Someone said, what's harder, A-levels or uni? Now, this is a tricky one. I think it definitely still depends on what subjects you're doing at A-level and what subjects you're doing at uni. At A-level I did psychology, sociology and media, and psychology and sociology I definitely struggled with more than media, I think, which shows why I've done media at uni. But A-levels, it's like, here are the facts, you need to learn these, could come up in your exams, whereas uni is like, we're going to learn about these different topics, this bit of like research, do this reading, do some more reading if you want, write an essay on it, kind of thing. It's not, you don't have to include a certain amount of things in your essay because you might do an extra reading that you think is really important. I feel like it's marked very differently. It's not just off a checklist, right and wrong. It's very much like your interpretation of things and things like that. So I think that's definitely something that is different. I don't know whether that makes either one harder or easier. It can be hard to adapt and like get across your opinion but write it in the right style. There's obviously whole new things that you have to learn at uni, such as referencing, how you're writing your essays can be different. Hopefully uni you're enjoying more because it's the one kind of subject that you love the most. So I like to think it's easier to learn and easier to write about. It depends how you work. One has said about finding a boyfriend. Now personally, obviously I had a boyfriend before going to uni, so I obviously wasn't looking out for a boyfriend, but honestly, that's just up to the individual, isn't it? Lots of people may have relationships before uni, and that is definitely a challenge. Everyone copes with it differently. Obviously, you're going to try and make time for each other. If it works, then that's really good. And if it doesn't work, then maybe it just wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to start giving my relationship advice. You get in a relationship at uni, which will be the similar way of finding friends. You know, I don't know what advice you want me to give, but yeah, if you're looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then go out looking. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about finding a relationship if you don't find a girlfriend or boyfriend in the first year, also doesn't mean that you're not going to find one at uni at all. Everyone's experience is different. Don't worry if you don't find one, don't worry if you have one before. Just honestly, a relationship is not the biggest concern when you're at uni. Someone has said about seeing home friends. Now I think this is quite interesting because everyone probably has different opinions about whether they feel like they're going to see their home friends or whether they feel like they're not going to see them. And personally, my friends from home, I didn't visit any of them at uni and none of them have visited me at uni. That doesn't make me a bad friend, that doesn't make them bad friends. It depends what you're all doing. Lots of my friends were at uni or were working, and therefore you are busy, you're living different lives. Doesn't mean that you're not going to stay in contact. I talk to lots of my home friends almost every day, and then some home friends I don't talk to as much, but you will always have that bond, and whenever you come home you will all always be here. So you may meet up more at Christmas or at summer, and that's just how it goes. It doesn't mean that you're going to fall out with them, it doesn't mean that you're going to drift away. But yeah, everyone is busy, everyone has different commitments. If you're able to visit home friends at different unis or come home at weekends and see friends, then that is amazing. But just remember that people do have different schedules and different plans. So if it isn't possible to see your home friends when you're at uni or whatever you're doing, then that doesn't matter and you can just try and see them when you're home. My last two questions or points are just about best things about uni and worst things about uni. I guess this is kind of going to be specific to me because I can't speak on behalf of all the uni students. Best things that I've learned or best things that I found about my first year at uni. Ooh, obviously independence is a lovely thing that comes from uni. Just all the different people you meet. Some of my friends that I've made at uni are from different places in the country that obviously I wouldn't meet if I never went to this uni or went to a uni at all. And then join clubs, which I haven't really mentioned in this video, but joining clubs and societies is definitely a really good and important part of uni in my opinion. You get to meet so many new people. It's a great way to like spend your time because you have so much free time at uni that a couple of hours in the week doing a club, going to a club, joining a society, I just think is so important. Like I said, you're meeting a different range of people from all different courses, all different areas, and yeah, you might make your best friends from joining a club because you have similar interests. So I definitely think that's a really good part of uni. For me, I did really struggle with homesickness, which is the complete opposite of what I thought. I thought I was going to go to uni in September and not come home until December, but actually I came home about 2 weeks later for a weekend. But do you know what? Everyone's experience is different. Everyone copes differently. Some of my friends absolutely fine and do not need to come home at all. Some of my friends come home all the time or have visitors all the time, and honestly, whatever way it is fine. But that is something that I did definitely struggle with. And just generally adapting to uni, I found a lot harder than I thought. More people are struggling with adapting than you think. I know that generally uni is pictured as the best experience of your life, and I'm sure for most people it will be, but for lots of people you may just be there for the degree and then you get it out of the way and then you want to go and live your dream life in your dream career. But everyone will have a different uni experience, and that is what you need to remember. I have waffled on for quite a long time. I'm sorry if this video is so long, but I thought since I'm here I may as well get it all out in the open. If you have any more questions or any advice or anything about uni, or you want another one, then please do let me know, or any similar videos like this. It's actually nice to just sit down and talk and answer questions. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful for people at uni or people looking to go to uni or anything in between. I shall see you soon for another video, and yeah, please continue to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in a few days for another video.